Going. Hello, and welcome to Eppendorf Lab Channel, your home for experts and knowledge live. I'm Matthew Yurkevich, a marketing manager at Eppendorf SE here in Hamburg, Germany. We're all very excited to have you here joining us for the latest installment in our series of webinars on digitalization, entitled From Ownership to Usership, Your Digitalization Journey to the Future Lab. In this webinar, we would like to highlight Eppendorf's stake in the digitalization and our customized digital offering called Visionized Lab Suite. I'm excited to welcome our expert presenter, Petra Lederle, Head of Digital Transformation Office at Eppendorf SE. She and her team enable and orchestrate the digitalization at Eppendorf and communicate the Eppendorf digitalization strategy. Hello, Petra. It's great to have you here today. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me today.
We're glad to have you here and to share in your presentation. Now, before Petra gets started, I'd like to take a moment to direct your attention to the interactive portions of Eppendorf Lab Channel. If you look down below, you're going to see a series of poll questions. Your input is valued by us, and we appreciate your responses. They'll help us to continue to tailor our broadcast to what you find important and helpful. Now, if you look over to the right-hand side of the screen, you're going to see a chat window. Feel free to use the space for any comments, questions, or reactions you might have. One of our application's experts is monitoring the chat and is ready to help. After the presentation is completed, we will have a question and answer period where Petra can address any questions you may have. You can also message us for information about demos and more in-depth conversations. Now, without further ado, I'd like to hand over the reins to Ms. Petra Lederle. Petra, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Matthew. Let's get started with our webinar, From Ownership to Usership. So today we are talking about one of the most disruptive business models in recent time. It's the subscription business model. And probably all of you know subscriptions from your private context because subscription is already the front runner. So do you remember the last time you bought a DVD or a video cassette? No, at least for me, it was a long time ago. And why not? Because there is Netflix. And it's not about buying and owning DVDs anymore. It's about using them. So Netflix has revolutionized an entire industry. But what makes Netflix so attractive? So when using Netflix, I pay a monthly fee and get access to a wide variety of television shows, movies, and documentaries. And I can watch as much as I want when I want, 24/7. And there's always something new to discover and new stuff added every week. So instead of just having a few DVDs gathering dust on my shelf and boring me, I have the opportunity to entertain myself with new content around the clock. And this is indeed revolutionary. And if I would change my mind, because some series are definitely addictive, I can cancel my subscription at the end of the month. And that's it. So I don't pay any longer. And I would say that comes along with a lot of flexibility. So imagine being you just as flexible in your lab work. But we will talk about that in a minute. Second example. So probably you all know Audi on demand. So instead of buying a car, and sometimes with long waiting periods, especially with the chip shortage nowadays, or a leasing car with a very long holding period of 2 or 3 years, here at Audi, you can subscribe on a monthly basis. And there's a variety of cars, and you can even change cars twice a month, depending on the occasion. So an occasion with your wife or husband, there may be a convertible for a date, or a limousine if you have your mother-in-law on board and you want to keep a little bit of distance while driving from A to B. Plus, you don't have to worry about insurance or maintenance, so it's all included. So it's an all-round carefree package that saves you a lot of time and gives you more freedom to focus on what's really important. And talking about the advantages of a B2C subscription model. So these advantages also applies to the B2B market. And in the B2B market, this business model is also on the rise. So there's a term servitization, which is established in the industry. So servitization means that companies no longer sell products to the customer in a one-time transaction, and thus the product becomes a property of the owner, but the customer pays a monthly or quarterly usage fee. So the product itself remains in the property of the manufacturer, and the manufacturer ensures that the product does exactly what it's supposed to do. So coming along also with a maximum of flexibility. So there are many more options. So instead of buying the product, the customer can subscribe, renew, suspend, add new services, or upgrade depending on the customer's changing needs. And as you know, the world is getting faster and faster, and the dynamic of the market environment is very, very high. And the higher it is, the greater the adaptability is needed. So for most users, time is the most valuable asset. So focus on what's really important and don't waste your time spending on non-value added tasks that get on your nerves. Don't think about maintenance costs for IT hardware anymore. So it's all included in the package, and your software and IT equipment is adapted and upgraded to the latest technology, future-proof. The next point is about security. Subscription platforms are underlying very strict security standards, and there are a lot of developers working every day to make sure everything is running and constantly improved. And last but not least, a fair price. So it's transparent, so it's completely flexible and comes with low initial costs instead of a high CapEx investment amount. But what does it mean for B2B companies? For example, Eppendorf in a lab environment. So Eppendorf is currently also on a digital transformation in its way to becoming a servitization company, and along its visions evolving from a classical product manufacturer to a lab as a service provider. And the focus is no longer only on the product themselves, so the product perspective, but will be shifted quite strongly on the customer perspective. So we want to support you in your daily lives to make your lab work easier, enable you to fully concentrate on your experiment. So it's also no longer about a one-time transaction. It's about a whole experience. So we want to take you by the hand on your way to your digitalized lab, listen to your needs and pain points, and support you with suitable digital solutions for highest customer satisfaction. And the goal here is to expand with a trusting relationship. So it's not longer just a one-time transaction, and develop it further with ongoing improvements, also based on data analytics, coming along with a value-based pricing model. But listening to some of our customers, what are their concrete needs or issues in the lab? So starting with the first one in the left corner. When do I need to service my equipment, calibrate, for example, my pipette to meet regulatory standards? Second, how can I make my activities in a lab more productive or efficient? So currently, there is a lot of work based on paper and Excel, and the individual process steps are documented and manually. So our customers would like to have this digitalized and be able to view the corresponding protocols with only a push of a button. Another question. Who is responsible for a certain task? So the customers would like to have an overview of the task and even assign them to a personal lab. Next one, where is the device located? So sometimes there is a lot of chaos in the lab, and it's difficult to find the individual devices. And according to our customers, it would be a big advantage if they would have an overview of the devices and knew where they are and what their status is. And the last one is also a very important question. So is my sample safe? So how can I make sure that my sample is stored correctly, that I can take action if something's going wrong? And Eppendorf's answer to these questions is Visionize. So it's a lab and a device platform having a modular set of digital services that addresses the respective needs and pain points in the lab. And the services can be selected according to the customer's individual needs or in 3 pre-configured packages. So the packages are sample security, compliance needs, and maintenance management. Starting with sample security. This includes features such as remote monitoring and alarm notification. For example, you can monitor 24/7 whether your freezer has the right temperature to safely store your samples. And if not, you will receive a warning message directly and you can take immediate action. So this gives you peace of mind for a sample. Compliance needs. So it helps to prepare for audits, make your documents available by clicking only on one button. And last one here, maintenance. So it's all about services that maintain lab equipment to avoid downtime. And before we move on to the demo, which will explain the functionalities of the Visionize in a little bit more detail, I would like to keep in mind 4 advantages having digital solutions on a subscription basis. First one, so focus on what's essential. So we would like to give you time back and you can only focus on the experiment, meaning get rid of any non-value added activities. So reduce hands-on time and increase your walk-away time. Second, keep your sample safe. So monitor wherever you are 24/7 to check if your sample is okay. Be compliant with all regulatories or regular documents on your fingertips here on the left-hand side. And the last one is pay what you need. So use highly flexible and modular services that you can configure according to your needs. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. And we hope that we together can start the digital journey from ownership to usership and also to your future lab.
Well, that was very informative, Petra, but I got a couple questions for you. Thank you for the presentation. What were some of the biggest hurdles on this digital journey from a product to a lab as a service provider? Because that's a big jump.
Yes. So in fact, so the biggest challenge, and thanks for a question, was to create a common understanding of what digital transformation means for us and where we want to go. And that's why we had an internal workshop with our 20 digital project leaders and developed a common target image or vision, so the polar star. So we ask ourselves, where are the future trends in the lab, the future customer needs, and also very provocatively, so are we in the near future still a company selling physical products, or are we already a software company? And these were quite a high, intense discussions. But we took all the crowd intelligence together, and we came up with the following statement that we want to connect the physical and the digital world to successfully become the lab as a service provider and putting the customer in the center. Mm-hmm. But also very another key learning was it's all about the mindset and learning new skills. So for us as a very traditional manufacturer that has building one premium device after another, sometimes it's quite difficult to think in digital solutions. So in the development with lean startup, MVP approach, design thinking, co-creation with customers, implementing new emerging technologies, etc. This is quite challenging, but that's the future, right? And Eppendorf wants to be part of it. So these were the 2 major key learnings.
Well, we're all very familiar with the physical Eppendorf products, and we can't wait to see the digital ones now that are going to bring it all together. So is Eppendorf planning a partner ecosystem in the future?
Yes, definitely. So Eppendorf is a big fan of crowd intelligence. So the plan is to join forces also with other companies to work on new digital solutions for labs worldwide. So with technology partners, for example, for the terms of connectivity and app development, with knowledge partners in the sense of workflow intelligence, go-to-market partners, etc. So the goal is to have a partner ecosystem and to be faster together, challenge each other, grow together, and of course, offer then the best solutions for the customers. Mm-hmm. And one thing is, which I think is very interesting, so Eppendorf is currently building up a venturing arm, so meaning we invest in startups and also partnerships with universities with pretty cool new technologies and supporting also research on specific life science question, which will hopefully revolutionize the lab of the future. So stay tuned. There is some more to come.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for your presentation. It was great to have you here, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too. Thanks for listening.
Now, it's time to take a short yet insightful look at that very same Eppendorf customized digitalization solution, Visionize Labs Suite. Now, Anne-Claire Feucht and Boris Topolsky, marketing and business managers here at Eppendorf, will explain the basics of the Eppendorf Digital Labs solution, as well as present a short demonstration of Visionize Labs Suite in action. We could take a look at how Visionize can increase the reliability and reproducibility of your lab results, and give you the peace of mind that comes with secure user and device management.
Who in the lab isn't familiar with being constantly challenged to drive innovation while improving productivity and efficiency? Streamlined processes and operations are crucial for a successful and efficient laboratory environment, especially in those days where we have to cope with the new needs and overcome challenges in laboratories worldwide. Thinking here about the new norms of social distancing, remote work, as well as restricted access to lab benches. We at Eppendorf believe that the lab of the future will be digital, with varying degrees of automation, as well as smart lab management solutions, empowering you to focus on the essentials. We will accompany you on your digital transformation journey by offering smart lab solutions such as Visionize Lab Suite. Be prepared for tomorrow and ready for today. Do you know what is happening to your samples when you're not there? Do you want to be able to remotely check if the device run has finished? And are you interested in device documentation for your compliance reports? In this case, Visionize Lab Suite is the solution for you. It includes features like device monitoring, notifications, maintenance planning, as well as device documentation options to improve your sample security, boosting your lab's efficiency, and supporting your compliance needs. It is designed to be a vendor-agnostic solution that works with varying degrees of device connectivity. Devices manufactured by Eppendorf and third-party suppliers. As a cloud-based solution, the suite of services is kept updated, making it a sustainable investment. As you and your lab expand over time, Visionize Lab Suite evolves to meet your needs. Let's have a look into the platform.
Visionize Lab Suite is a cloud-based software accessible from everywhere. With the user management, you can add an unlimited number of users to the platform. The configuration management allows you to add additional services to the platform. With the device management, you can add devices to the Visionize Lab Suite. Connected devices like the CellExpert C170i can be remotely updated using the device management to provide the latest updates and the best user experience. Using the monitoring application, you can remotely monitor your devices. So let's have a look at the C170i. You can monitor all parameters like the temperature, CO2, O2. All historical parameter data is saved in a chart view, and all device interactions are saved in an event list. So let's change the temperature from 37 to 30 degrees. The set point change is displayed in the monitoring, and also the set point changes are documented in the event list. Using Visionize Lab Suite, you can get informed about any alarms, errors, or status changes. So let's have a look in the notification app. You can just add a new notification, define first of all a name, select the categories you are interested in, and the device which should trigger the notification. You can define a recipient, and if you would like to receive the notification via email or SMS. If you subscribe to the additional service Audit Plus, you can create alarm escalations meaning if you don't react to the alarm within 1 minute, it will be escalated to a second recipient. So let's see what happens if someone leaves the door of the freezer open. You will receive a detailed notification showing you which device is affected, where that device is localized, and the type of the alarm that occurs. For example, in that case, that the door is open longer than 30 seconds. If you are the first person receiving that notification, you can just acknowledge the notification by clicking on the link. And as soon as the notification is acknowledged, it won't be forwarded to the next person. With Visionize Sense, you can monitor any temperature control device. Just connect the sensor to your device. You can monitor the internal temperature, the ambient temperature, and also other parameters like relative humidity, pressure and brightness. Just define the alarm ranges, for example, for the temperature, to receive alarm notifications. Smaller devices like centrifuges can be connected via the Visionize box. So let's start a run at the centrifuge and let's check how Visionize Lab Suite contributes to even smaller lab devices. You can check the current status of your device or receive a notification when a run is completed or when there is an error during a run. All kinds of historical setpoint changes are saved in the event log, and all parameter data is saved in a chart view. You can export all of that data to Excel and get an Excel export of all measurements, alarms and events. The Audit Trail will document all device interactions, all alarm and errors, all maintenance activities that have been performed and who has performed these. And in case of an alarm notification that has been sent out, it's even documented who has acknowledged that alarm. For planning maintenance activities or having an overview of your whole device asset, you can add any kind of lab device to the Visionize Lab Suite. If it's a pipette or a pipette which is serviced at Eppendorf, you can just use the QR code to scan the pipette, and some of the properties will be automatically predefined. Using task management, you can create one-time or recurring maintenance activities. So let's, for example, plan a pipette calibration. Let's first of all type in the name. You can enter a task description if needed. You can define the first due date, who's responsible, if it should be a recurring task, when the event should be due, and when you would like to receive a reminder, and if you would like to receive these reminders via email or SMS. Now, just select the devices that should be maintained in this task, and the task is created. Now this task is already overdue, so let's perform the task with the Visionize Lab Suite. First of all, we send the pipettes to Eppendorf service, so we just mark these pipettes to in progress. Once these pipettes are marked as in progress, in the software also, they will be shown as being out of order. Once you receive the pipettes back from the Eppendorf service, just move them to complete, confirm, and the timer will automatically set to the next due date. If you have any question on how to perform the maintenance task, have a look into the user manual. Navigate to the document management. Select and download user manuals and device-specific certificates.
If you would like to learn more about Visionize, please visit our website, contact us for a personal demo, or sign up for a free trial of 3 months.
Now, to learn more about Visionize and the Eppendorf digitalization future, visit eppendorf.com/visionize. Find out about a free trial and how Eppendorf and Visionize are your lab software solution for effective lab and maintenance management. One platform offering all the options and tools you need in the modern lab. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you at our next broadcast on January 25th. It will be the third installment of our digitalization series, The Rise of the Virtual Lab Ecosystems. You can go to eppendorf.com/lab channel to save the event in your calendar. If you miss out on this broadcast or any of our other previous events, you can also view all previous episodes at eppendorf.com/lab channel. Watch them all on your own time and use the links to contact the experts with any questions, comments, or reactions. On behalf of Petra, Anne-Claire, Boris, and everyone else here at Eppendorf Lab Channel, thank you for taking the valuable time out of your day to join us. And until we see you again, stay safe and have a wonderful day.